this notion around like as a woman, especially as a Black woman, you
Mhm.
do not have the opportunity to make a mistake. Like you always have to show up in a certain way. You need to always have your self put together, the things put together, like your
Mhm.
life kind of planned out. I think it then becomes this space where we feel like there's a way that we're supposed to show up. There is a way
Mhm.
that we're supposed to do everything.
Yep.
There's a specific way in we are supposed to heal or speak or be. And so all of those pressures kind of play into this thought of, I have to get it right. And welcome to the Trust in Her Journey podcast. I'm Felicia.
And I'm Crystalline.
This podcast is a safe space for women who are carrying a lot, women who are trying to trust themselves again while managing the weight of their roles and responsibilities.
We know what it's like to feel stretched thin because you're constantly showing up for everyone and putting your own needs last. Here, we have honest conversations about the silent struggles many women face.
We're so glad you're here. In every episode, we'll talk about the real challenges women navigate, whether it's juggling work and family, carving out time for yourself, or learning to trust your instincts again.
You'll hear us share personal stories and lessons from our experience to help you trust your path and rethink what peace and balance actually looks like for you.
Our goal is to guide you through the hard moments with honest conversations about boundaries, self-care, and leaning on your faith for strength.
If you've been feeling overwhelmed, unseen, or unsure about how to care for yourself while caring for everyone else, you're in the right place.
Just a quick heads up, this podcast isn't a substitute for working with a licensed counselor or therapist, but don't worry, if you need that kind of support, we've got some resources for you in the show notes. Let's start the conversation. Welcome back to Trust in Her Journey. We're so glad you're here with us.
Hey, Felicia.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm here.
We're recording while the sun is up, girl.
I know we're normally, doing this late at night. I don't know how we survive or what energy we have in our
Yikes.
bodies, but it feels good to do this while the sun is up
Mhm.
and not after a long day.
Yeah, I'm like, yikes, what am I thinking? Maybe I should have waited till 9 o'clock because
Nope,
I'm
nope.
peeping, like hoping nobody come through the door.
You want to know what this is? I think that's a perfect segue into today's conversation because we're talking about
We
overthinking.
are. That is true.
And I feel like, switching up our routine sometimes and not doing things like we normally do can cause us to overthink. So
Yeah,
we're not
that's
going to
true.
overthink. We're just going
That's true.
to go with the flow and see what happens.
You're right. I think overthinking is something that a lot of people, a lot of women silently struggle with for a lot of different reasons. And we are definitely going to get into that today. Even if you don't realize you're listening, you don't realize, didn't realize before now that that's something you struggle with. Hopefully, some of the things that we'll share with you will be helpful.
Yes, exactly. Today we'll really be talking about what's underneath overthinking, and why
Mhm.
so many of us struggle to trust ourselves enough to make a move, make a decision. So I'm excited because I think we all can benefit from that. And I
Mhm.
say we all because this is not just a conversation for the listeners, it's also a conversation that you and I have often. So I'm
Yes.
excited to jump in.
Yes. So, I know for me, I don't necessarily always only overthink because I'm indecisive. I feel like I'm a pretty decisive person. A lot of people rely on me to help them make decisions because I do tend to see things in black and white. I think, though, that's probably more true for other people's situations that I see things in black and white. But when it comes to myself, and you tell me if you agree, but sometimes being afraid of not making the best decision or the wrong decision is likely what typically leads me to overthinking. Even down to what I'm going to say, right? Like I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing I try to steer away from getting closer to it being perfect. So I'm not struggling with that as much. I know it's not going to be perfect, but I want it to
Yeah.
be helpful, right? I want
Yeah.
what I'm saying to resonate with people. I want my decisions not to affect the people that I care about in a
Yeah.
bad way. So I tell myself that I need to think about this more before I make the decision.
Yeah, I think I'm on the other end where I overthink a lot of different things,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be small things sometimes, like where do we want to eat, or
Mm-hmm.
like it's just the smaller things, and I'll even overthink, like you said, how I will have a conversation with
Mm-hmm.
someone, how I will respond, what will happen in those situations. And I think fear does play a part in overthinking. And I think on the other side of that is sometimes I overthink because I have been hurt in the past, especially
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to making decisions or showing up in a certain way. And
Yeah.
so I feel like overthinking in my mind, the way that I have processed it is the a way of protection for me of
Yeah.
not getting
Yeah.
hurt. So I
Mm-hmm.
think even when again we've made choices or decisions before and those decisions didn't go so well, I think it feels a little bit heavy to then walk into a space of like not overthinking or
Mm-hmm.
easily making a decision or standing 10 toes down in whatever thought or decision that you have. So for
Right.
me, it's a space of like, okay, I did this in the past. I made this decision, and based off of my decision or my choices, it led to me getting hurt or someone
Mm-hmm.
else getting hurt by my decision. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to recreate that cycle again. So I overthink every little thing and sometimes look for that validation from other people to see like, am I making the right decision? Am I doing this
Right.
right? So yeah.
Right. So you just described feeling unsafe
Yes.
because you've made some decisions that didn't really turn out the way you hoped they would. Whether or not a lot of us realize it, overthinking is our brain's way of trying to keep us safe. Um, and the hardest part, I think, even to say it now is hard because I'm trying to be safe, so I'm thinking this through. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it through.
Yep.
but
Not
I
the
don't
air
have,
quotes.
yeah, but I don't have peace about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so now I'm just stuck.
Yeah. And when we get stuck, I think that's when our minds kind of go down the rabbit hole and we begin
Mm-hmm.
to overthink every single thing
Yes,
from
yes.
when should I have the conversation? Should I
Mm-hmm.
have the conversation? Am I doing this right? Am I
Yeah,
getting this right? Yeah.
yeah.
So it then becomes like this constant state. I feel like it causes, especially for me, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but for me, it it causes my anxiety to increase because now I'm overthinking and I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
prepare for what I'm walking into. But it's like, girl, you are causing yourself more harm than good
Yes,
right now, like
yes,
overthinking this
yes.
situation.
Overthinking is our brain's way of, or brain's version of overpacking for a trip. So
Oh,
you're trying to prepare for every outcome, every
mm,
possibility. Um, but the luggage is heavy, more
yes.
heavier than we thought it was going to be. The last
Yeah.
time we flew, I think, which is spring break, I don't think, I know that my luggage was at the limit. So, I mean, I knew it before we left home. It's
Yeah.
just, but what if it rains? Oh, the weatherman said, well, it's going to be chilly this day. So I got to pack an extra jacket and then I got to pack certain shoes and then maybe I need extra pairs of pants. All of these things
Yeah.
that, of course, I get there and I end up wearing none of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
None of the stuff that I'm telling my husband, wait, no, back up. I got to go run back in the house and get this. And I end up not using any of those things. So all of that luggage ended up weighing way more
Mm.
than I needed to. So by the time we get to our destination and I wanted to shop, guess who didn't have room in their bag
Yeah,
for extra
you didn't
things?
have any room for any extra items.
Right. So if overthinking is our brain's version of overpacking for a trip, right? All of that mental luggage ends up weighing us down. We end up
Hmm.
having carrying so much more weight around with us than we need to. And the only thing we were trying to do was stay safe.
Yeah.
So
I
where
think
does
stay safe and
what?
get it right. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
we want to be safe. And I agree
Mm-hmm.
with you. I think it's the space of like wanting to feel safety. And even we talked about it before, just like being at peace or finding peace
Mm-hmm.
in that way. And I also think it's just, I want to get it right. Like,
Yeah.
I
Or
don't want to
feeling
get it
control.
wrong. I want to be in control. A part of our
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. Like, I want to be in
Mm-hmm.
control. I do want to get it right. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you think that comes from? You know, because I know people who are listening, who they're in families where um they may be the one who decided not to join the military and everybody else joined the military. They are the
Hmm.
one who decided not to go off to college when that's what their family was saying that they should have been doing, or playing a sport that they no longer are interested in. Um, and that could feel like a lot of pressure. And so they may struggle with all the decisions, small and big, like you mentioned
Yeah.
before, because they feel external pressure from the people that they love, people whose opinions really doesn't matter to them.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think you just spoke on it. Like, a lot of times there is this pressure for us to get it right. And that I think that even starts with just like family or the
Mm-hmm.
people that we are constantly around. And it can look like
Mm-hmm.
family members, it could look like, church members, it could look like, teachers, or even just
Mm-hmm.
like the societal pressure or expectations of us, especially when
Yeah.
we talk about women. And so I think when we were raised to like believe to always get things right, and even in previous episodes where we discuss this notion around like as a woman, especially as a Black woman, you
Mm-hmm.
do not have the opportunity to make a mistake. Like, you always have to show up in a certain way. You need to always have yourself put together, the things put together, like your
Mm-hmm.
life kind of planned out. I think it then becomes this space where we feel like there's a way that we're supposed to show up. There is a way
Mm-hmm.
that we're supposed to do everything.
Yep.
There's a specific way in we are supposed to heal or speak or be. And so all of those pressures kind of play into this thought of, I have to get it right. And it's
Oh yeah,
not
look at all
just
the
in one
aesthetically pleasing
space.
posts we see. Like everything is
Exactly.
so perfect and put together. And
Yes.
I'm like, girl,
That's
who
not reality. And it's
how?
not to shade them whatsoever. I think
No,
that
but
that
how? I
is,
can't keep up.
yeah, I think that that is that person's creative process
It
or the way
is.
in which they want to show up, but that is not how we are supposed to show up at all times. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it doesn't have to be the standard.
no,
And I'm not saying that they owe us these people who post content like that owe us anything by saying, hey, this is just me. This don't have to be y'all.
yeah,
But I we have to it's important that we remind ourselves that this is not the standard, or this doesn't have
yes,
to be the norm. It may be the standard for them and their household, or it's how what generates content for them.
yes,
There's the whole ASMR that's
yeah,
really really popular, and so even the sounds and things when people are organizing, it's really helpful for a lot of people,
mm-hmm.
right? So there's a lot of reasons behind why people are doing it, and for most people it is because they're getting a check. That's how they make money, so that's
Exactly,
great.
yeah,
But in your real everyday life, we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we feel like we have to measure up to this
yeah,
idea of this is what right looks like, this is what organized looks like, this is what a real person's life should look like every single day,
yeah,
because that's just not the reality. So when overthinking in my real life, and you can share you share some of
okay,
yours, but some things I overthink about, asking for help,
oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
I tell myself a lot of stories about why I need to wait or even not ask
Yeah.
for help at all.
Yeah.
Um, Parenting decisions is, I guess,
Oh,
probably at the top of the list for me, though, even more than asking for help. And
yeah.
you just
That
want to get it
one,
right.
you
you just
want to
want
get
to
it right.
you just
You
want to
want to
get it
get it right.
right.
Yeah.
More recently, I've been trying to be really honest with my daughter about um being okay with not getting it right, being okay with
Mm-hmm.
not knowing. So sometimes I do tell her I don't when I really don't know. Mommy doesn't know.
Yeah.
I know the answer to that. She thinks I'm an encyclopedia. She does. I'm
And
her
you know,
personal
kids
Google.
love to ask, like, why? What is that? Like, girl, I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
I am getting really comfortable with saying I don't know and I'm
Okay.
sorry. If I
Okay.
say something and it was not accurate or wasn't correct or
Yeah.
my tone wasn't, what
Mm-hmm.
I thought it should be, because I even started to overthink that. Like, oh, maybe I said that in a way that's gonna make her sad. And she's probably in her room
Mm-hmm.
crying. And she's not gonna want to be my
Mm-hmm.
friend when she becomes an adult, right? I'm fast forwarding
Yeah.
till she's 18, 21, 25, 30 years old,
Yeah.
thinking like because that one time I said something in a harsh tone, she's not gonna want to come home for Thanksgiving. All of these things I overthink. And
Oh,
so
you really go to
down the
Thanksgiving
rabbit
25.
hole.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No judgment. I'm just
No, I go
just
down
tracking.
the
Yeah.
rabbit hole. And part of
Yeah.
that too, I think, is because for lots of reasons. Some of it's just because of how I'm wired, but also
Mm-hmm.
because of the stories I hear every day from
Oh
people who
yeah.
really do not want to be around their parents
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
how they parented them. And I don't want that to be my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to flip it and be really intentional and not overthink as much, but just, hey, I messed up, or I don't know. I'll
Yes.
try to do better next time and let
Yes.
that be a part of my healing process. Um, because I'm just not gonna always get it right.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely, the asking for help part, the parenting piece is definitely up there. And I think sometimes, if I can 100% honest, I even think the having conversations with my husband, sometimes I overthink too, because I am currently in a season where I'm trying to work on my tone in the way that I deliver certain information
Mm-hmm.
and the way that I process information that's being
Mm-hmm.
provided to me. And so there are times where like there could be a disagreement or
Mm-hmm.
something that we are talking about and I will overthink like, well, if I say this, this is how he's going to respond, or if he says this is how I
You
will.
play the whole
Girl,
conversation
I'm
out by
playing out a
yourself.
conversation. And then when I talk to him and I tell him, he's like, I didn't think any of that. So what are you talking about? But that's how I overthink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like
Mm-hmm.
communication in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
even business. I think for me, being in business for myself, I'll overthink small decisions like, okay, if I make this move, how will this then impact my business? How will this then impact my family? How will this impact my clients?
Yeah.
And so I'm overthinking things that is not even like a make or break it situation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, girl, make the decision. Let's
Make it.
see what happens from there.
Yeah.
But I'm like going to worst case scenario
Yeah. Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
first thought. So yeah,
Yeah, you playing out every single scenario. What if they get mad?
every
What
single
if I regret
scenario.
this? What if I
Yes.
fail? What if no one shows up? All the
Yes.
things
Yeah.
instead of trusting what you already know.
Mm. Okay.
We right because
Wordplay
we
on
get
the podcast. Trusting
we
everything. Okay.
we know we can't control outcomes. We
Mm-hmm.
can try to set ourselves up for success. But when we get stuck trying to control every single outcome, a lot of, well, for I speak for me. Sometimes I just don't move at all. I'm frozen,
Yeah.
right? I either end
Yeah.
up with decision fatigue. So
Mm.
I'm just so exhausted because I don't want to have to make any more decisions.
Yeah.
Somebody else pick for me.
Yeah.
But and the truth is I really don't want them to do that. I'm saying it, but I don't think they're gonna choose right. But I'm also scared and I'm not gonna choose right also, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything I need, I'm learning to trust that everything I need, I already have. The internal resources, the wisdom, the clarity, everything I actually need, I already have within me. I just need to
Yeah.
trust that whatever decision I'm going to make, especially when I'm intentional about making sure that my decisions align with God's will, it's going to turn out for my good.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It's going to turn out however it's supposed to turn out.
Yeah, so it sounds like a part of what you're saying is just when we begin to overthink some of I guess one of the very first steps that we should do is focus on movement and not perfection.
Yes, just move. Just
Okay.
do something. So
Yeah.
you're yes. So we shift gears a little bit and talk about some things that actually help us to break the cycle of overthinking. Right, because it's important. We need to know what's happening. We need to be
Mm-hmm.
aware.
Mm-hmm.
But when we really get stuck in our head, we want to give our listeners some things they can actually do.
Yeah.
And so I've shared what's been working for me, reminding myself that just do something, make a decision, just one
Yeah.
thing, just do
Yeah.
one thing. What's
Yeah.
one decision that I can make that doesn't require the actual outcome to be perfect?
Mm.
Because I know I'm a freezer. That is my trauma response.
Okay.
That's a conversation for another day.
Yes.
But that's
Yes.
what I do. I
Yeah.
freeze. It also looks like procrastination, right? So freezing looks like me trying to make sure everything looks perfect all at once. But I get so overwhelmed with trying to make sure it looks perfect. I do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's not helpful. So,
Yeah.
what's one thing I can do? Just one thing I can do. And if the outcome isn't perfect, it's okay. I'm good with that. So that's
Yeah.
one thing that you all can try. Those of you who are listening and struggling with freezing because you're overthinking, and so you don't make any decisions at all. Decide what's one thing you can do that does not require the outcome to be perfect. If it turns out great, that's a bonus. If it doesn't turn out too great, then we just reassess and move on to the next step.
Yeah, I think another thing that you can do is kind of like just name the pattern out loud. So you can say, like, for instance, it could be like, I'm overthinking because I'm afraid of blank. So in the example that I provided around what I kind of overthink about sometimes when it comes to communicating like concerns that I have or issues or just communicating at all, I'm
Mm-hmm.
overthinking because I'm afraid of it could be anything. Him leaving, us having a larger argument,
Mm-hmm.
us not
Yep.
speaking for days,
Yep.
just naming the pattern out loud because then it disrupts like the automatic loop of us going to like the worst case scenario,
Those
but it
automatic negative
also,
thoughts, those ants.
yeah, yes, but it also brings to the forefront what we're thinking. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking this, but
Mm-hmm.
is that really gonna happen if I just say like, hey, can you not put your socks here, or
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you text me this, or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
conversation may to the forefront of our minds can also eliminate the overthinking, the negative thoughts that may come up. And then it reminds us that, like, no, you're not crazy for protecting yourself or keeping
Mm-mm.
yourself safe, but this may not be a situation that you even need protection.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
you don't need any
Exactly.
protection. Like, you're
You're
here
good.
with this person
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel safe. So just talk.
Yeah. In a safe relationship, i.e., with a partner or your best friend or someone you trust, I have even encouraged clients to say things like, there's a part of me that's saying, if I tell you this thing, right? Because we're also practicing vulnerability. There's a part of
Mm-hmm.
me that's saying, if I come to you with this thing, or if I tell you this issue or concern or this thought I'm having, you're going to leave. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna think I'm crazy, or you're
Yeah.
gonna judge me, or whatever. It's gonna make a bigger argument. We're gonna have a bigger argument. So putting it out there, naming it, can take away some of the power, the control that these negative thoughts have over you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so if we name it, we call a thing a thing. Say, I'm
Mm-hmm.
overthinking this because, then decide what's one thing that you can do, make one decision, one move that you're okay if the outcome is not perfect. And doing that is going to actually bring clarity too, right? So if I take
Mm.
one step forward, then I can decide, depending on the outcome, oh, well, that was good. Let me take the next step. Oh, that didn't really work. Let me reassess. Let me regroup, a pivot if I have to.
Yeah. No, I agree. And even after we do those two things, I feel that it then gives us permission to actually make a decision because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we feel that we're stuck because we don't know what to do. But I think it's ultimately because we don't think that we're allowed to make a decision, whether we're making the right decision at the time
Mm-hmm.
or a decision that may not align with our end goal. We still just feel like we are not allowed to make a decision at all. And
Yep.
so actually giving yourself permission to make a decision and then put you in a space of like, you know what, I'm human, I may get it right
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, I may not.
Sometimes I'm not. That's right.
This is an opportunity for me to learn more about myself, learn more from maybe the mistakes that I'm making, but also learn a lesson from how good it feels to make this decision.
Yes.
Like,
Because that builds
what
confidence.
happens? Yes, it gives you a space of confidence. And the more that you just like give yourself permission to make a decision, the more that I think, name it and call out the pattern, you are building confidence over time to continue making decisions without hesitation.
Yes,
Eventually, you get to
that's
that
true.
place where you're like, you know what? I'm going to make this decision. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's roll with it.
It's gonna be all right. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So these tools obviously will not erase every worry that we have, but they can help to give you more agency over your life, over yourself. I think um, they help remind us that we're not powerless, that we're not lost, that we're not crazy, that's nothing wrong with us. We're learning to use the internal resources that we already have within us. And it's also just a great way to take care of yourself, to show up for yourself. So if Proverbs 3, 5 through 6, it's a scripture that a lot of people talk about and post about. It's the scripture that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Some versions say, honor him. And I kind of mentioned this earlier. If we are, when we are overthinking, we're leaning on our own understanding, right? Um, and although we know that we have a lot of things that we already need, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. Those of us who are highly educated and have worked in our field of expertise for a long time is, speaking in regards to business decisions, right? We
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of things.
Yeah.
And still leaving God out of the process, it can be really detrimental to us. We cannot have a escape plan for every single situation that we are fighting against or coming up
Agreed.
against or just dealing with in our everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
We can't possibly think of every possible outcome. Um, so I want to challenge you all just to trust God as your guide. Take to him the things that you have been struggling with, things you've been worrying with, things that you have been overthinking about, things that whether you're afraid, things you're afraid to say out loud, or things that are keeping you up at night. Take those things to him. God, does this align with the life that you have for me? Is this something that you want me to do? Is this a place you want me to go? Whatever the thing is, carry that to him and ask God to give you whatever it is you need to be able to lay down or put aside the things that he no longer wants you to carry, and ask him to
Mm-hmm.
give you the strength to be able to carry the things that he does want you to carry. Either way, leaving God out of the process isn't helpful to any of us. But for some people, and some people find that the outcome doesn't always go the way that they want, even though they have prayed, right? So that's possibly why they're struggling to carry things to God. But again, I challenge you to try them again and see how that works out for you.
Yeah. And just remember that faith, I just want you to think through this in a sense of the way that you explained it before. Just because we have faith, it does not mean that we won't feel afraid. I mean,
No,
it
it
just
doesn't.
truly means that we won't allow fear to stop us.
Mhm.
So, God moves with you, and when you move in faith, he's going to move as well. And so
Mhm.
it's not necessarily saying that, oh, because I have faith, I am 100% like, I'm not going to be afraid. I can
Mhm.
do all of these things. It's just the moments where you remind yourself, like, yes, I'm afraid, but I won't let the fear stop me. So that
Mhm.
means I'm going to have faith that whatever decision I make, I will have support. I will
Yes.
have God.
Yes.
It's a constant reminder that I'm going to do this, and whatever outcome I experience, I know that God will be
Mhm.
there to support me, as well as your family, your friends, the people that you have in your circle too.
Yes. Yes. The scripture says, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we should be looking for our strength to come from.
Yeah.
So asking God to give you the strength to be able to make these difficult decisions, or to not
Mm-hmm.
overthink even the small decisions, and not relying on our own strength, because that is there's limits to that. There's only so much we can carry on our own.
Agreed. All
Yeah.
right, ladies. So before we go, let's take a pause together, a rest stop before you step back into your day.
Yeah. So overthinking has kept so many of us stuck, keeps us caught up in this loop in our head, and it's hard to move forward. It helps us to think we're not safe, and then we end up not feeling at peace. You don't need to think harder. You just
Facts.
need to trust yourself more.
Yes. Yep. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So since you put it that way, we want to share like a reflection question, something that you can process or think over
Mhm.
until the next episode, but also just think over until you are ready to move forward and make
Yeah.
your first decision without overthinking. So
Mhm.
the question we want to leave you with is, where in your life have you been waiting for the perfect moment to make a move when you already know what you want to do?
Mm.
Did you make that question for me?
I
She came up with the question this week, y'all. So I feel like I'm just kidding. But oh,
Mhm.
that was a
Yeah.
good one.
So that means that, if there's been this pull, this nudge to do a thing, um, if you haven't been doing it, if you haven't done it yet because you're waiting for it to be perfect, this week, instead of asking for more advice, instead of over processing it, again, just pause and ask yourself, what do I already know to be true? Then just take one small step. Now,
Okay.
some of you may be courageous and you want to take one big leap. That's fine.
Yep.
But for those of us who are not ready for that, just take one small step. Okay.
Okay. Well, we are super, super grateful for you all tuning in and listening to the podcast and being
Yes.
a part
Thank
of
you.
this community that we are creating. We hope that you share this with someone that you love or someone that you may dislike as well. Just share it as much as possible. So
Why you gotta go
everybody,
there?
I'm just saying, so everybody can get a dose of healing, and
Share.
we
Sharing is
all,
caring.
yes, and we all can continue to show up for ourselves
Mhm.
in many different ways, as well as show up for the our sisters and the women
Yeah.
in our communities. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, next week's episode is all about the pressure to prove yourself, so you don't
Mm.
want to miss that.
Mm-mm. All right. See y'all next time.
All right, bye. That's it for today's conversation. We're so glad you joined us.
If this episode spoke to you, we'd love for you to subscribe, share with a friend, or leave us a review. It helps more women like you find this space.
Join us next time for another honest conversation. Until then, take care of yourself and trust your journey.